It really just begins and ends with connecting to stillness. Put the aeroplane mode on the phone and to just sit with ourselves. A feat that had never been attempted before. It was a hard journey. We have so much abundance and we can't be taking it for granted or the world will fight back at us. No matter who we are, we can have an influence on that. Hello, my name is Barney Swan. I'm currently in a remote beach in far north Queensland, Australia. And I really wanted to share a story about being vulnerable in nature and the teachings that can come from spending time, extended time within the outdoors. For me, this journey started as a young age. I was raised up here in the rainforest, off-grid, and I've always had that keen sense of curiosity to get out and about, be curious about what is around the river bend, literally, what's around that next ridge, exploring up the coastline, checking out what's underneath rocks. And I think from there, that curiosity has remained within how I'm approaching my non-profit ClimateForce, within the adventures that I manage and the clients that I take on these adventures. And it really just begins and ends with connecting to stillness, in my opinion, and really finding that time to put the aeroplane mode on the phone and to just sit with ourselves. And it is uncomfortable. Things do come up that we might be avoiding, but through that process of being still, finding that stillness, seeking that stillness, I really do believe there's so much healing and just positive realities that can be created from that, and visualizations for what we want to create. And I, in 2017-18, created a world's first in skiing 2 months to the South Pole, powered off renewable energy, a feat that had never been attempted before, for good reason, dragging a ice melter that was powered off solar and lithium batteries that were charging off the sun, and biofuels that were made from waste and plastic waste. It was a hard journey, but I really wanted to prove that if you can survive in minus 40 conditions without showering for 2 months, having a really hard time. I got frostbite on my toes, frostbite on my face. I had a very hard time mentally. But if we can make an effort to be sustainable in the world's most harsh, most hospitable, windiest, coldest place, why can't we be using more renewable energies in the real world? Why can't we be making an effort to reduce the amount of plastic that we use on a day-to-day basis? Why can we not consider eating more vegetarian options? I'm not saying we all need to go vegan, vegetarian tomorrow, but even just making these little steps do require us not living in this comfort and this state of abundance that we sometimes take for granted. And this situation that we're experiencing around the world right now with COVID-19 has been a humbling, very humbling moment for us and our species, and has reminded us that we can't be having supply chains that are scattered all over the place and be making the assumption that our Airbnbs are going to be filled for the rest of our lives. And I think it's reminded us of our vulnerability, but also our potential for collaboration and for building things up that have never been achieved before, whether that's a vaccine for a virus that has never been attempted to be conquered before, or creating a whole new line of technologies to address CO2 and emissions and converting waste into assets. Whatever it may be, we have this opportunity to collaborate between countries, between nations, between cultures, and to create very tangible things that we can do, whether you're a hedge fund manager or a stay-at-home dad or a student or a dentist or a construction worker. No matter what industry we are in, we can make an effort to not take for granted our planet and to really be giving back for it, for all of the beautiful abundance that it gives us, whether it's the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food that we eat out of the sea, food that we create on land. We have so much abundance and we can't be taking it for granted or the world will fight back at us, as it has given us a small warning recently. And I'm doing everything I can through my non-profit ClimateForce to accelerate positive models and really relevant ways for businesses to get involved within the sustainable development movement. And the goal of my nonprofit ClimateForce is to reduce 360 million tons of CO2 before 2025. And I'm working with business leaders to really align ESG, environmental social governance practices, with that bigger picture of what's going on within the United Nations, the Paris Agreement, and really just be creating tangible things that employees and shareholders and stakeholders can rally behind and understand, but most importantly, trust, because trust is fractured right now. We are not trusting politicians, we're not trusting the media, we're not trusting a lot of things right now. And to earn that trust, we need to be genuine. We need to connect with ourselves and be authentic leaders and lead by example, not by talking, but lead through action and tangible ways that other people can get involved within that action. And I think it's just really important that right now, with many people being stuck indoors, I know it's not an option to come out to a place like this and find that connection to the outdoors, but we can connect within, and we can turn off on the aeroplane mode and just sit with ourselves, light a candle, make space. I'm not saying it's a religious thing, but I think that it is an awareness thing. Having that awareness to really find what is serving us, what is not serving us. It's not easy to do, but it's very important. And right now, young people are going through a very hard time, very hard transitional time, not having their peer group to rely on, not having the freedom to go out and play. And I really hope that young people realize that they have so much influence within their families, within the communities that they're a part of, within their schools, within their broader nations, to be the rallying point for creating tangible action. And I know that it is an overwhelming time for so many of us. There's so much uncertainty, there's so much unknown. But through that, we can create clarity on how we want to design the future. And I feel excited that no matter who we are, we can have an influence on that. And I just leave you with the message that really got pushed on me in Antarctica, that we are free. So many of us forget that we are free to make choice, to decide our future, to decide where we want to be in 10 years, 5 years, tomorrow. Freedom is not something that we should take for granted. We should relish that freedom, connect with that freedom. And even having frostbite in -40 conditions, being overwhelmed with the fact that I had to ski another 9 hours for another 2 weeks, after 45 days of doing the same thing every day, not showering for 2 months, in those moments of hardship, reminding ourselves that we are free is a very important practice to remain grateful, to remain grounded, and to remind ourselves that we do have power, whether that's within our families, within our own bodies, or within the communities that we're a part of. We do have power. And being passive is not, it's easy. It is easy to be on the internet scrolling. It's easy to relax into Netflix. It's easy to sleep in the morning, but it takes courage to get up and get your face out there and to be vulnerable and to try. And failure is scary, but doing nothing is even more scary. So I just give you a very simple message of keep inspired, keep hopeful through these hard times, because they will change, new opportunities will arise. And from that, we can truly design a future that we are proud of and feel a part of that.
Tell us what you think about this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.